We talking about practice, man? Of course, we talking about practice. And this time I want to dive into some of the defensive stuff I've heard over the last few days. I owed you this from earlier this week. Traveling got me and I didn't get a chance to really make nothing besides the stuff at Locked On. So I'm going to give you some additional nuggets that I got from practice, especially around the defense. So let's dive into that. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you for pulling up to the channel. This video is powered by our partners over there at BetUS TV. Check them out. They are giving you all the odds and breakdowns here on their YouTube channel. So go find them on YouTube at BetUS TV. So, Oklahoma in practice has been looking a lot more impressive than a lot of people had anticipated. You know, we raved about the offense over the last week, gushed over John Mateer as it sounds like he's really, wrecking havoc, not only on the defense itself, but being a major leader. I mean, heck, Kendall Doby came on here and just raved about John Mateer. You see the word quarterback in the dictionary, John Mateer's picture should show up next to it. That's just how much a lot of these people like him. Well, because of that, you've been hearing all of this because the offense has been kicking tail in practice over the last few weeks. Not just dominating, but balancing it, right? You're not getting a situation where it's only the offense. You're seeing a combination of both offense having a couple good days, defense having a couple of good days, and you're starting to get that balance that Brent Venables has been asking for. That is huge. That's huge for us to be successful this coming season because it's not even an indictment on this defense that we're going to dive into. It's more so showing that our offense is competent. That's the most important thing. But defensively, some names have been flying up the chart over the last few days that I got to point out. First and foremost, defensive line-wise, of course, Jaden Jackson's not practicing right now. He had shoulder surgery. But he's expected to be good to go this summer and really make it happen here in the fall. You saw some of the one-on-one battles. Me and even John broke that down on Locked On Sooners. And you start to see one big name that's jumping out there. David Stone. The 5-star appears to be getting it all together. Things are clicking in the head. And he's poised to have himself a dumb year. Like one that every single one of you have been hoping for from one of our 5-stars. That he would come in and be dominant and be a force no matter what. And it appears that David Stone has been doing that in practice. I mean, he's put on the weight. He's up to 313 pounds. He said he's put on 15 to 20 pounds. So I'm guessing he may have added a couple more since winter. So he's probably closer to 320. So that's a big 300-pounder in the middle to go with Dominic Williams, who's already at about 320. You'll have Jaden Jackson in that exact same range. So you've got a minimum 3 deep that you could technically move to the nose, to the zero technique, if you really have to. So he's right over the center, and they're going to be an issue. But Stone can also play 3 because he's, based upon what I've been told, is that he's still got the speed and explosiveness, even though he's put on like almost 30 pounds since he's gotten here. Hey, man, y'all been asking for it. That's what we've been needing. But there's also been a couple of other players on the line that's been showing out. But first, shout out to BetUS, our partners. They got a YouTube channel where they're talking odds. They're giving you the breakdown and analysis. They went through everything for the March Madness. The game's coming on tomorrow. So you can check them out, and they'll break down what they feel like the best odd to take in that game. But regular season totals, we talked about this before, but Oklahoma's still sitting at 6.5, but it's favored to take the over. And I'm definitely going to do that as well. Other Oklahoma opponents here, feels like everybody here, I think it's probably more of a favorite to take Missouri under, but hey, there's money to be made. So BetUS will hook you up if you want to learn some more there. Go check them out here on YouTube. Search BetUS TV, where the game begins. The other player that has been jumping out, two players have been jumping out on defensive line that I've gotten a couple notes from actually like three different people. A couple parents and a trainer I thought was very fascinating. PJ Adebawore looks like he might be there. Now, I know we've been waiting for 2 years for PJ to give us what we've been getting, but what we've been wanting to get. But PJ has also been dealing with some ankle injuries and just ailments that's been kind of, slowing him down some. Even with the added pounds to his frame at 260, it sounds like his body is at about the point where we think he's ready to go. Just saying. That's what it sounds like. That's what the words are coming out, is that they feel like PJ is ready to make a leap. We already know Danny Okoye is already at that point. He's been talked about since last year, and they just need him to get his full technique down to be able to be a menace, which he's expected. But him and Marvin Jones Jr. should be a force. You'll have R. Mason Thomas and probably PJ playing a little bit more on that side. Taylor Wine's another one. The recruit out of Tennessee. If I'm correct, they found him when looking at someone else, or they were looking at him and found a wide receiver. But I actually think it was they were looking at the wide receiver and found him. He's put on pounds. He's about like 260. Nice size. And it sounds like he's wrecking shop on the defensive line too. Like he's just all over the place. And you're seeing him in videos. You've seen him in some of the highlights and stuff. Even in the one-on-ones, he looked really good. Taylor Wine's one to keep your eyes on. From there, though, linebacker room, of course, Kip. Kip's doing it. He's fine. Nothing to even worry about. Kendall Daniels is figuring it out, though. And there could be situations where you see Kip and Kendall, Kobe and Sammy Omosigho together, or Sammy and Kendall, Kip and Kobe. There's going to be a lot of mixtures there at the linebacker, which is good because that means you got two deep at minimum at linebacker. And in that third deep, if you go into it, Nesta sounds like he's actually picking up a lot of the game. He's showing up. But really, if anything, though, that linebacker room I'm not worried about. Corners, we're going to need another one. We're going to need to get another veteran corner. And that's nothing against the guys. Gentry and Eli have to come back healthy, which we'll find out this summer. Gentry sounds like he's practicing. He's just not in contact, which makes sense because why waste him why not let him just be completely healed through fall camp and let him just hit in the games rather than him hitting his teammates and potentially re-aggravating that shoulder. Knock on wood, you don't want that to happen, but playing caution. Eli with the ankle injury, he'll be back this summer. He's expected. I think he'll probably be ready here in May, but they're going to hold him back because it only makes sense. Why play him if you don't have to, right? But from there, you're playing nothing but the young guys. You got Cortland Guillory, who's done well. I've heard he's gotten a couple of interceptions. Same thing with Malik Hawkins. Seems that he's been running with the twos. Tristan's also been getting some burn. JJ Newcomb or Jeremiah Newcomb, whichever one you want to go with. I think Brandon Drum called him JJ at one point. People was asking questions, but he looked like he's there. I'm not worried about the safeties. We've talked about safeties enough. I've already told you guys that I'm high on every single one of them, and I think Peyton Bowen may be about ready. But I know that Jaden Hardy, Michael Boganowski, Reggie Powers, and Robert Spears-Jennings are already at the point where you're like, yep, we're good. But the question now is going to be who's the corner that's going to step up and take over because we don't have the two healthy vets. You need to make sure you have a good 2D. Devon Jordan, I haven't heard a lot about him, but I heard enough. It's more of he looks like who they got, who they thought he would be. He's pretty good. Probably has some little bit of work to do, but Cortland Guillory is the one that's jumped out the screen. He's the name that's been constantly mentioned. You've probably seen it from the insiders over at OU Insider as well as at Sooners Illustrated and Sooners Scoop. All of them have basically talked about Cortland Guillory in all of their write-ups. And that's what I've heard from a couple parents that have seen practice. They've said, yes, Cortland Guillory appears to be the dude that's going to be the one that's going to break out the most in the secondary out of the young players. Tristan was the name. I heard Tristan Haynes. I heard his name, the Carl Albert product. I heard a lot about him at the beginning. Now I'm hearing a lot about Cortland. I wonder if Tristan may be sidelined with a little bit of dingers or something. But those three that we brought in, him, Malik, Tristan, Malik, as well as Cortland, are three corners that should be playing a lot of ball for Oklahoma over the next 3 years. like a lot of ball. Maybe 4 if you can keep all of them. Possibly 5. But I know that all of them are going to be, that was a very good haul. And it's starting to show. It's showing fruition in practice. So let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Want to hear your thoughts. I know you've all been seeing some of the practice stuff. We've got the Crimson Combine coming up next week. I plan on being there. I'll be there for a couple of hours hanging out. Probably come a little early. Hang out, check things out. And then I got to get back. My kid's going to prom. So let me know what you think about that. Shout out to our partners at BetUS TV. Find them here on YouTube to get all of your betting and analysis fix. They will get you taken care of. We'll chop it up later. We're going live at 6 per the norm, as long as the weather doesn't make things bad for Coop or myself. But we'll be live at 6 tonight. We'll talk more ball. We'll talk practice. We'll talk anything that we've heard. And we'll go from there. We'll chop it up soon. Peace.